Now at 9, it was a scary sight for thousands of people in parts of our viewing area.
Oh my God, look! Look, it's swirling, you see it?
A tornado touching down in Selma and Winchester last week, then crossing state lines into Ohio.
We got high winds, we got stuff blowing everywhere.
Mother Nature tossing cars in the air and ripping houses apart. Some buildings completely flattened and unrecognizable.
Days later, multiple towns are now in recovery mode, picking up the pieces and coming together as one community.
We will be here to support this community until you say that you did that you got it.
You've got people everywhere coming through asking if you need food and water or anything. And I mean, there's just so many people around that's trying to help.
Our team is on the ground talking to people, some who lost everything. Our in-depth looked at communities affected and the path moving forward.
There's a way to continue on.
This is NewsLink, Indiana.
Local news about local people, live from Ball State Unified Media. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Thursday night, March 14th, the National Weather Service alerted Delaware County of an extreme tornado warning. The F3 tornado touched down in Delaware County and moved southeast to Randolph County. Now affected communities are in recovery mode. Thank you for inviting us in tonight. I'm Abby Urban.
And I'm Daniel Hochsteller. That's what we're going to begin with tonight. The tornado hit Selma, Indiana as an EF2. It formed 1 mile outside of Selma. The damage made to the town involved broken trees, torn house sidings, and missing roofs. The community has begun picking up the pieces together.
Our weather team has been out in the field reporting since Thursday night. For some, the storm jargon may be confusing. Our Jack Van Meter is in Selma and has the explanation and science behind the tornado.
Hard to believe that just 4 days ago, a tornado touched down here in Selma, Indiana. We're currently on East Jackson Street in Selma, and behind me, we can just see one of the many houses that were affected by this storm. So we turn around, we can see that the roof has been ripped completely off of this house. We also note that windows have been busted through as well, and that's exactly the type of damage that the National Weather Service was looking for this weekend when they were doing their storm reports. When the National Weather Service learns that a tornado has touched down, they come into town and they look at damage to see how strong this tornado was, because obviously nobody's going to be here to manually take wind measurements. So when they came here, they concluded that the wind measurements were around 130 miles an hour, rating this storm an EF2 tornado. Now, EF2 tornadoes can fall from a range of 110 miles an hour all the way up to 135 miles an hour. So this storm actually was only 5 miles an hour short from being an EF3 that tore through Selma, Indiana. So a pretty high-end storm. On East Jackson here, we can see there's extensive damage running down to cars, RVs, houses, and a lot of property is damaged as well. Thankfully, there are a lot of recovery efforts that are going on right now, so we do have that to be thankful for. In Selma, Jack Van Meter, NewsLink Indiana.
As the storm moved from Selma to Winchester, it advanced to an EF3. The city has begun taking steps to clean up the damage caused from the storm. NewsLink Indiana's Sawyer Osman is live with us in Winchester tonight.
And I'm standing here on the property that belongs to the Church of Christ here in Winchester. And as you can see behind me, debris is left behind and perishables all over the entire property. And this is actually right across the street from the Goodwill and the Taco Bell that also faced major destruction from that storm here on Thursday. But volunteers and communities from near and far are taking it into their own matters to rebuild the city.
Piles of books laying amongst the rubbish belonging to Winchester's Church of Christ left behind from Thursday's destructive storm. The home to Sunday services facing mass destruction from the EF3 tornado that swept through the city. The church, along with the Taco Bell, Goodwill, and the Walmart, was one of those hundreds of buildings significantly damaged. Now, the impact is inspiring volunteers to help repair the city of Winchester.
Hey, it's a great opportunity for these students and for us adults that are on here as well. Anytime you can give back to the community or to someone else, rather than look out for your own interests, we're doing exactly what God called us to do.
The damage caused by the storm led the Riverhawks for Christ disaster response team out of Oklahoma to travel 15 hours from their hometown to come and serve the Indiana community. 15 student volunteers from Northeastern State University and local high schools around the area came to support and clean up the remains that were left behind. I spoke with a student from the Riverhawk for Christ membership team who shared with me that the Winchester community has been in good spirits amidst the disaster.
We want them to know that there's hope out there and that this is a horrible tragedy that's happened and there's so many people that are impacted by it, but there is a redeemer and there's a way to continue on. So
the ministry's response team has served out in Texas, Kentucky, and their home state of Oklahoma in response to disastrous tornadoes. Christ Ministry Group said that they will be here until Thursday to help clean up some of the area. And live in Winchester, Sawyer Osman, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thank you so much, Sawyer. Delaware and surrounding counties have been promoting ways to help repair communities.
Meanwhile, in Ohio, residents are beginning to assess the damage to their homes and businesses. Our Alex Almanza reports from one of the hardest hit areas that's beginning its long road to rebuilding.
Yep, there it is.
For the last couple of years, Elmer Miller has lived and worked in Logan County, Ohio as a contractor.
Pull that tight. Yep.
But this time, the work he's doing to waterproof roofs of homes and businesses is free of cost to those who need it most.
By the grace of God, we're still alive.
Somebody's got to give back to the community. It's a very traumatic thing they're going through. So I believe, with me being able to do what I'm able to do, why not help them out when they're in need?
Nancy Brentlinger has called the village of Lakeview home for over 50 years and says she's never seen anything compared to the damage left behind by this deadly storm.
As soon as I hit the living room, I heard it sound like my roof was coming off.
What did you do?
Hit the floor.
But even though the community is dealing with a great sense of loss and the road to rebuilding will be long, she's grateful for the amount of help that they've received so far.
You've got people everywhere coming through asking if you need food and water or anything. And I mean, there's just so many people around that's trying to help.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said nothing could have prepared him for the amount of damage he saw.
This Indian Lake community will come back. That's the message I got from everybody. We will be back. We are coming back.
In Logan County, Ohio, Alex Almanza, NewsLink, Indiana.
The Red Cross provides aid and support towards areas affected by natural disasters. They offered immediate assistance such as shelter, food, water, and medical aid to those affected by the tornado in Selma and Winchester last week. Additionally, they work to help with long-term recovery efforts like providing mental health support and offering resources to help communities recover and become more resilient in the face of future disasters. Their presence has been noted to be valued by communities. They bring hope and relief to those who have been impacted by the devastation of the tornado.
Saturday, the Red Cross volunteers were out in the affected areas. We were out conducting damage assessment, and we're continuing to survey the damage. Our workers are out distributing snacks and water to the residents in the community that were affected in Selma and in Winchester. We're handing out meals with the help of partners of ours. We've served over 1,200 meals currently. And we're also handing out disaster emergency supplies such as tarps, rakes, gloves, trash bags, other items that people could possibly use in doing the cleanup.
For more information on volunteering, go to redcross.org/volunteer or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
And we have continuing coverage of the cleanup in both Selma and Winchester. Stay with us both on air and online at ballstatedaily.com. Our thoughts go out to those affected by these storms. Now over to Ian Kowalski for our first look at weather.
Well, right now it's been very cold across the state of Indiana. 31 degrees in Muncie, 32 in Indianapolis, right around that freezing mark, leading to some snow flurries scattered around, especially Delaware County right here in Muncie, Indiana. And it's partly due to the fact that we've really cooled down over these past 24 hours. -6 degrees here in Muncie, -7 down in Shelbyville. And if you stick around for the rest of the show, I have a lot more weather to talk about because we're going to be talking about these very strong winds returning later this week. Clear skies during the midweek as well as rain returning as well as we head into the weekend.